Oh, well, we'll bring that up for sure, and because as we are live at the Canadian Bro Show. My name is Paul Bale. I'm the founder and host of the Canadian Bro Show, and I am really excited to be here. I just want to add my co-host of the most, Mr. Trent Rowley, to the scene.
I changed my moniker.
Mr. Rowley? Oh, the co-host of the most?
No, yeah.
You'll always be the co-host of the most, bro.
I'm that right there. The man, the myth, the legend.
Oh, that's a new one. Okay. Well, I mean, Trent's never, for those that have never been on the show before, my name is Paul Bale. I'm the founder and host of the Canadian Bro Show. We've been at this for about a year and a half now, maybe 16 months, I guess. It's been a very fast 16 months, and we've managed to put out about 130 episodes. Probably it should have been 140, but when you're starting a YouTube channel, mistakes are made, and that's certainly largely because of myself. I'll take one for the team, but we're happy to be here, and this is the second iteration of the Canadian Bro Show at the Canadian Bro Show podcast. And the first iteration is all things Canadian with Pauly and Johnny. Just read the ticker below. We've got current episodes, we've got future episodes, we've got this episode, and Johnny and I, all things Canadian, have done 71 episodes. We're working on our 72nd, and Trent and I in our second season. Very happy, Trent. We got a new thumbnail I've been working on, and it looks fantastic. It looks professional. Unlike, we're just growing. We're going through different iterations. First iteration, second, third, fourth, fifth, and we just keep on getting better.
Square one, unlike that square one that's taking up a quarter of my screen.
Oh, is that impeding? Well, plus, I just lost Pluto's face, so let me fix that. Pluto would be probably not as disappointed as you are. But I can...
Johnny Leister, Johnny Lester, Johnny Leister, however you want to pronounce it.
It's Leister, bro. It's Leister.
He's the original co-host, so he can be co-host with the most.
Well, that's what he loves it. I mean, Johnny is one of the most shameless promoters of himself, and he doesn't have an ego, and he doesn't care. He just constantly promotes himself nonstop. And God bless him, because he is the co-host of the most. However, my what used to be, now he's elevated because the ego continues to take over. Mr. Trent Rowley from St. Paul, Alberta, is the man, the myth, the legend. This is All Things Basketball, the second iteration of the Canadian Bro Show. And it's all things basketball from the Hoopjunkies, Pauly and Rowley. And Trent and I have been friends for over 40 years. We're basketball hoop junkies. We're sports addicts. We're sports fiends. We love sports, but we really love basketball. And we're happy to have you back for the second season of All Things Basketball from the Hoopjunkies, Pauly and Rowley at the Canadian Bro Show podcast. And it's episode 55. And... it's 55 is pretty awesome. It's about right. We do about 25, 26 episodes on the NBA and fantasy, but we also do the WNBA, and we do everything. On the new thumbnail, you'll see all the things that we partake in, and we're evolving and happy to be here. Week 25, second season. All basketball from the Hoopjunkies, Pauly and Rowley. Trent, let's jump into it. We are now at episode 55. We are in the NBA. It's no longer the road to the NBA Finals. We've already started. We're in the preliminary quarterfinals. This will be the third game, 3 games tonight, that we'll be talking about prior to the outcome of the games. We'll finish this episode before. It'll be a shorter episode, about 40 minutes, because we just wanted to touch base with a few things and what's been going on the last couple of games, and new coaching hires and some very strange injuries. And Trent, started right off. Let's go. Let's just jump into it. Eastern Conference.
Let's start off by bitching about the Raptors. How about we do that?
Okay. Let's get the bitching out early. Yeah, they've out of all the teams that made the top 8, both Eastern and Western, salute, bro. The Raptors have been the most disappointing. And before I let Trent take over, I've got to say 2 things that have really been bothering me for quite some time. And I've noticed this. One is they cannot go up and down like a yo-yo and do what the best have done. What Darko's done and what they've done to get where they are is incredible. Unfortunately, too many of their players have found a way not to participate in the most important games of the season, and their starting point guard has been a huge disappointment. And quickly, I will no longer have him on any of my fantasy teams ever again. And honestly, I think Toronto should take advantage of his still good rating with the vast majority of teams in the NBA and trade his ass. Because you can't pay a guy who just got a huge salary in these 50 games and he's sitting out on the bench. And come on. There's nothing. Seriously, it's driving me insane, bro. And the second thing is, Trent and I were on the coach, Darko, and we thought he was going to get fired. I want to retract that and apologize to Darko. He's done an incredible job.
He's getting fired.
What's that?
He's getting fired after this year.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I just want to talk about he's still employed now. But because of players like Quickly and RJ Bennett and Podol, I mean, these stiffs, and then the rookie that nobody thought they would draft is actually a really nice player. He's undersized at 6'7", but he has, as Trent and I mentioned, huge long arms. Unfortunately, he'll never play more than 50 games in a season because he is always injured. He is the balsa wood man. And I'll just leave it at that. Trent, let's talk about, what do you think about the Raps? Very disappointing.
First of all, let's not discredit Cleveland. I mean, Cleveland healthy, we've talked about them all year. If they can be healthy, they have a legit shot to be in the finals out of the East.
They got to beat the Knicks in Boston, but Boston and Knicks will probably meet each other before.
I'm just talking about them.
Yeah.
Them, they're healthy. The talent that they had getting James Harden, Max Strus back, Tyson went to the bench. They have
Keon Ellis, Dennis Schroeder.
They're all of a sudden deep.
They're huge deep because they're healthy for the first time in 2 years.
If they can be healthy, they have the opportunity to win the East. So I'm not going to take anything away from them, how they've beaten the Raptors.
They could be the best team in the East right now, actually.
Yeah, for sure.
Talent-wise.
The Raptors, we had talked about this before the trade deadline. They needed to trade quickly Podol and RJ Barrett. They didn't make any real significant move. I like Jamal Shed. Been a fan. He's at University of Houston, but he is a backup player. He's probably going to have a pretty decent NBA career because he's willing to play defense. But he's a backup. He's not a starting player.
Yeah, no, he's not a starting. And plus, Trent, the most important thing in the NBA is not to be decent. There's a lot of journeyman point guards out there. The guy can't shoot worth a lick. He couldn't hit the broadside of a barn, man. I'm serious.
He's a backup player. He's a backup point guard.
He needs to learn how to shoot.
Unfortunately, he's the backup to Quickly, who makes him kind of a semi-starter because that guy can't play. I wanted to trade Quickly and Barrett. You can tell just by watching them play against the Cavaliers right now.
No emotion, no love.
What we had talked about before, though, is a quality big, a power forward or a center, one of the two, or interchangeable, that can score the ball, is going to rebound the basketball. Yeah. A good player there. And there's some available in the league. Go get Kel'el Ware. Go trade him Quickly and RJ Barrett for Kel'el Ware in a minute.
Man, you know how much we love Kel'el Ware on this show.
In a minute. But you can see it against somebody like Cleveland, who's got DeFro and Mobley. You know, they're
Allen's back, the Fro's back. I mean, yeah.
That's what I mean. Toronto has no answer for that size.
And they got Tyson, who's a young small power forward.
I like Mamu, but he's not he doesn't play big overall. And Scotty Barnes he's basically playing point forward. Realistically, Scotty Barnes with the team they have should be playing power forward just because of the size that they don't have.
I'm surprised he's not, and that is the coach. Unfortunately, Toronto is lucky. Sorry, Trent, go ahead.
Darko's done after this year. He's done.
Oh yeah, I agree. We talked about it, but and unfortunately because of the players, and the thing is, the GM that's no longer with them, who just, by the way, bought in a percentage of the Toronto Tempo, is now affiliated with the Toronto Tempo, so he's still lurking in the background. Pay attention, and really, I've never seen one of the worst 3-point shooting teams in the NBA. And they've never addressed that. Now, in the NBA, everybody knows, all 30 teams know, you cannot go deep into the playoffs without three-point shooting. In fact, it's taken over the game. Some teams, I mean, look at an example of a team that's allowed to utilize three-point shooting, and that is the Boston Celtics. And what
everybody on the floor could shoot it.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Except even Keita hit a three the other day, and it was his first three of the season. I mean, let's just stay in focus. I mean, the problem is we're Canadian. It's the only Canadian franchise since the Grizzlies were, unceremoniously just ripped from the DNA.
Well, the truth. I just watched it again the other day. Go check that out, documentary out by an Asian girl from Vancouver.
I know. Yeah, I met her.
It was really well done. She did a really good job of it.
Yeah, she did a great job, honestly, and I'm surprised nobody got in there and did something even better, but she did a great job.
She had a great interview with Steve Francis, him telling, nobody ever asked me why I didn't want to come to Vancouver again.
Yeah, they did. They did. He doesn't remember. He was eating too much Vaseline at that time.
Yeah, well, that's a big mistake by Stu Jackson anyway. He knew that guy wasn't coming.
Stu, the Grizzlies. We could do a whole episode on the Grizzlies, bro.
Moving on. So the Raptors. I said before the season that even into last year when we first started doing this show that I thought Darko needed to be fired.
I've been saying it since day one because
I wanted Mike Malone. It's too bad he went to North Carolina.
No, I agree.
I think there needs to be a voice there too, because here's the final straw, and I'll leave this. The Raptors, if they win one game, that's a win in this series. I'll be surprised if they win one. They probably get one at home. The last game, after the first game, when Brandon Ingram, it's one thing to make comments, right, in private to the coach, to other players. But when
these guys should know better, bro.
When you start making those comments public, that shows me that there is a disconnection now, that it's time to move on. So when Brandon Ingram, who had probably his best season, playing all the games he did, all that, says after game one, the best players should be getting the ball or having.
I mean, just because you're the best player, had your best season, and you're a young man, doesn't mean you're smart. Doesn't mean you have.
That just shows me that there's a disconnection there.
Well, it's the whole. Everyone knew about it. If you've been following it like we follow it, the locker room in Toronto has been a problem all year, and
you need somebody to come in there and put their foot down.
Yeah.
And be the boss, and then have a GM
and hold them accountable like other franchises.
Well, no, have a GM that has his back. That when he says to the GM, "Hey, we need to get that guy and that guy out of this dressing room, figure it out."
Yeah.
You need somebody to come in there and take over. And Toronto's always been kind of a team that's been run. Even when Nick Nurse was there, it's a front office type team. It's been run by the GM, assistant GM, and the whole team. It's not just the head coach.
Well, that's all they knew from their first championship, and was accredited because of that growth.
Yeah, well, they need now that it's time for a new era there. They need to find a coach, and that's why I wanted Mike Malone. I wanted a guy who's going to come in, no nonsense. That's what they need there. They need a new voice. They're not winning this series. Darko should be fired, and I mean, I like the guy. Obviously, he's a good coach, but it's time to go. Experiment's over. Let's figure it out. Let's go. Let's be positive going into next year because it's over this year.
Well, I mean, it's a must-win game. Let's put it this way. Toronto needs to find a way to put it all together, and I don't have any confidence in them whatsoever. I think there's too many holes in their roster.
They could win tonight. They're not winning this series.
No, I mean, listen, I'm trying to stay in the moment. I'm trying to stay in the second. I'm a basketball hoop junkie, and I'm greedy. I'd rather have 7-game series every single series. I'd rather have a 7-game series, but that's just not realistic.
I want to watch shit basketball for 7 games.
Honestly, listen. I've watched some of the best playoff basketball in the first round in the first couple of games I've seen in years, if not a decade. And then also I've seen some real shit blowouts where it's like, my God, people play 100 games to show up and play like this. Like, have some character, have some heart, show some resiliency.
Right, let's move on to your team.
Which team? I got a bunch of teams.
Well, you're cheer for anybody who wins. The Knicks.
I mean, do you want to start off from the top and work down, or you want to start from the bottom and work up?
Doesn't matter. We can talk about the middle two, just because those are the two teams that are more relevant. Because you were a Knicks fan.
Well, I'm a Boston fan too, and I'd say the best team right now, if you looked on paper, and they're healthy, is the Cleveland Cavaliers. I think they have the edge.
So if Boston and New York play each other, you're cheering for Boston.
No, I'm going to cheer for both of them.
Shut up.
It doesn't matter who wins because I love them both.
You're a Knicks fan. That's what I said. Like,
No, I'm a hoop junkie, bro. I love.
Yeah, I like watching Boston too.
I'd love at least 24 teams in the NBA. There is about eight or nine teams that I can't stand.
I'm with you on the Celtics. I'm not a fan. I don't root for them, but
Yeah.
I'm a fan of how they play.
I think it's going to be the Celtics and the Knicks in the finals. But
Yeah.
right now it's the quarterfinals, Trent. It's the third game of the quarterfinals, bro.
They can't play each other in the finals. They play in the next round.
No, I know. I understand that. But I'm talking about let's stay in the moment. Right now, in the first round of the quarterfinals, Toronto doesn't have a hope. They're going to fire their coach. They're going to trade 3 of their starters, and they're going to rebuild again. And they might even get a new GM because I don't think he's done a good job.
No.
I don't even know who he is. And I think Cleveland is going to move to the next round. So the other East teams, give me the first one that's top of your head.
Knicks and Hawks, because you're a Knicks fan.
Knicks and Hawks. Okay, so the Hawks, I'm not really sure what they're doing. And they have a bigger team than the Knicks, but what they did it towards the end of the season, the last 2 games of the season, was pure stupidity, in my opinion. They could have avoided the Knicks, and the Knicks actually made a mistake themselves. I don't know if it was intentional or it was a coach oversight with regards to scheduling, and they sit out all their players and they lose a very important game. But they were just desperate not to play Minnesota Timberwolves. Obviously, I get that.
In the East, what are you talking about here?
I know. I'm just talking about the Knicks right now. Talking about the Knicks, bro. You just asked me a question. I'm talking about the Knicks. And I've watched the Knicks in the last... what I've noticed in the Knicks towards the end of the season is probably what should be one of their most important players. And when he was coming out of Phoenix, I really thought he was going to be a superstar in the NBA. And now Trent's mocked me on taking him in the 5th round on 2 consecutive years. And I deserve to be mocked because I am hugely embarrassed that one of my favorite players, a gentleman on and off the court, has never been injured in his life. We keep on saying that, and he's still out there. He doesn't do anything. The offense doesn't work through him. He plays good D, and if you look at his stats in fantasy basketball 9 category, Mikal Bridges is, believe it or not, a 63rd to 67th in the top 100 players because of what he brings through the majority of good 9 categories. However, to rely on him as a 5th or 6th round, I'm supposedly in the top 1% of fantasy basketball, and I make mistakes, and that was a huge mistake. And the Knicks made even a huger mistake, giving 5 first-round picks and player swaps and a bag of chips and a 2-4 tacos to get this guy. He's a freaking stiff.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And yeah, he plays D, but nobody gives him the ball because he can't shoot. He shoots like this, and everything is wrist, and everything's front rim.
Yep.
Everything's flat, and I'm hugely upset. They've got a good bench. I don't know what's going on with their center. I think he's starting to lose his mind a little bit. The Knicks center, I can't remember his name right now because I'm just like, how many picks did you have to get up to get? But the only sane thing that is OG, and I think one of the best playoff point guards in the NBA, certainly top 5 point guards in the NBA, sure. Brunson, is the only reason why I'm really holding out. And a few other, they've got some nice pieces that they brought in. I don't think the Knicks are going to win the Eastern Conference Championship this year. I think it's going to be the winner. Philly, there's rumors that are coming out that Big Africa is going to find a way to get on the court for Game 3. No, I'm serious. That's the latest. And then so you can't count them out because you got Paul George, you got a good coach, you've got depth, you've got one of the best point guards in the NBA. It's so early. That's why I wanted to do the show tonight so we could just really take a real hard, close, and honest look at what's happening. There's been some great basketball, and there's been some really shit basketball.
And I think the Knicks win tonight. I think the Knicks win this series, and then I don't care that Embiid comes back, even if he comes back for 1 or 2 games. The only way the Celtics lose, if you look at their numbers, and it's because they shoot so many threes, they missed 30 3-pointers the other night.
Yeah.
So when they hit shots, they win. When they shoot like that, they lose. That's what their game is based on, because they play defense.
Yeah.
They get up and down, and everybody on the floor, if you're open, you basically have a green light to shoot the ball. So when they have off shooting nights, those are the nights you beat them. They're not going to have 3 more off shoot. They're gonna beat the Sixers, and then the next round, it's the Knicks and the Celtics. I mean, that's of course for basketball fans. That's old school, like NBC highlights type stuff, and a great rivalry.
Oh my God! It's 2 of my favorite teams in the two of my favorite teams in the East, and I can hardly wait for that. I hope it goes 7 games.
The Celtics aren't losing to. I mean, I'm sorry. He is a liability on, because guess what the Celtics are going to do? As soon as Embiid comes into the game, they're going to take the Nigerian kid out. What's his last name there? The center.
Nemus.
Kemis, whatever is with the Q there.
Nemus, yeah.
Yeah. So they're gonna he'll be out.
Keita is his last name. Yeah.
And they'll put Vukovic in, and when Embiid can't defend a pick and roll, it'll be Vukovic, or they'll even come with my boy Luke Garza, and those guys can hit threes.
No, they'll go Vooch, because Vooch can shoot better than Garza. And
no, that's what I'm saying. Vukovic is going to come in, and maybe even Garza,
and force a big man out of the block. Yeah.
Philadelphia, again, we've talked about this before. Dr. J was my first love of basketball, was Dr. J. So I'm a Sixer fan, down deep.
So am I.
Except when they play the Raptors, and except when they played Michael Jordan in the Bulls. I'm a Sixer guy. So they should have traded this guy 3 or 4 years ago when his value was really high.
How long have we been saying this? For about 3 or 4 years.
That they've held on this long. The process. You know what the process is? The process is nothing. It's zero. There hasn't been a process. You haven't played enough games for that.
No, the process is overpaying someone $1 billion, and he plays 45 games a season. And there is no legacy. There's no process. It's just another wasted big man that's overpaid, and he's got talent. There's no doubt.
Of course he does. No question about his talent. Guys,
but the problem is Philadelphia is the second worst 3-point shooting team in the NBA, and the Raptors in Philadelphia are not going anywhere because they can't shoot the rock. Watch their game. It's literally one brick after another.
But yeah,
it's embarrassing, man. Yeah, and Quentin, he had a great season, is sitting on the bench, and all of a sudden Nurse is like not playing him, and he's their best 3-point shooter percentage-wise.
Well, shout out to my boy at draft. I called it at draft. I drafted him in both my teams in fantasy. I ended up having to get rid of him because of schedule stuff, and he got picked up. But shout out to DJ Edgecombe. It was a great pick. Yeah. Even Maxey as a backcourt.
Yeah.
Such a nice future.
Dynamic, absolutely. If they could just get rid of somebody better than Barlow, I don't know what Nick Nurse sees in him.
Get rid of Joel Embiid. You'll still can get something for him. There's still capital there. Get rid of that guy.
Yeah, get rid of him while you still can, but keep George, because you're not going to get anything for him.
Yeah, keep podcast Paul. Might as well keep that.
Yeah, guy. Exactly. Let him blunt it up and
the last series in the East is obviously it was a bit of a surprise that first game, but I think last night showed when they play the right way. Detroit, Orlando. Orlando might win another game, but Detroit's winning this.
Yeah, I think it's going to go 6 games, maybe even 7, because right now their bench in Detroit's looking really shallow, and the coach doesn't have any confidence. And looking at Duran, a shell of him former himself after an amazing season and an all-star nod, and he needs to really pick it up. But what Cade did in the fourth quarter just shows you how good that guy is. And
Robinson too, with an appearance.
No, I mean, listen, Robinson, he disappeared for the first 3 quarters, but then Cade looked around and went, "Who is going to help me?" And Robinson's 6'9", standing there at 22 feet 9 inches. Get me the rock, because he can knock that down like a layup.
Yeah, it's an easy shot. And even your boy Red Velvet coming in and hitting some threes.
Dude, he can do it too. That's all he does. They're both specialists.
I know you love that guy.
Not really. I personally, Red Velvet, the nickname, it reminds me of a very terrible cake that my family used to love. And at
I'm
special.
with you. Well, that's everybody. I'm with you, though. I think I could see a gentleman's sweep as in them winning the next 4 games in a row after winning it last night at Detroit. But I could see Orlando getting 1 at home. I think
Definitely. I'm hoping they get 2. I'm hoping it goes 7 games and Detroit wins and make them work of it.
I think 6 is probably the right call on that series. And I think that's probably what's going to happen.
That's my guess. I said that from the beginning.
Detroit having some injuries at the end of the season and then taking that little bit of the foot off the gas. I don't care what we've talked about this in lots of sports. It doesn't matter what level. When you kind of take your foot off the gas or take a little bit of a breath to, we can relax a bit, we're set.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, playoff basketball and playoffs in general, hockey, football, basketball, is a whole nother animal. It's like all of a sudden the physicality goes up.
The worst thing you can do, and the other, and the Joker talks about it when they had I think 6 games off or something, and Joker was pissed because he wasn't with his horses, he wasn't at his farm, even though he's got both. He's got it in Serbia, he's got it in Denver, he's got beautiful places, but he didn't want to take 6 days off without. Look, the guy's a Pillsbury Doughboy. He's 7 foot. Guy's 375 pounds. 6 days off.
He's lost some weight.
He's definitely. That's why. Okay, this is a beautiful thing about Joker, and we'll get into the Western next. Is he doesn't want to take a night off because he wants to grind. He wants to be tired. He wants to be stressed. He wants to be challenged. And the biggest problem with the Joker, as we'll talk about the Western Conference, I suppose.
Trent? We're in the Western Conference right now.
Let's do it. So the thing about it is he knows that he's in his prime, and he would love to win another championship, and he'd love to win another MVP, and he is the best player in the world right now, I'd say, 100%. And the problem is Denver can't stop anyone. They've got more depth, and with Peyton still injured with that hammy, he was their best defender off the bench. And Aaron Gordon got really pissed off at
being a starter. Watson.
Well, he had to because of injuries. They had nobody. They were at 10. They were using 10-day guys in the G League, and they were starting. And by the way, one of them from Stanford got did a really good job, and so did Peyton. Signed an extension. So, I mean, it works. One person's misery is another person's opportunity in the NBA. You got to be ready. But getting back to what I was talking about is the Joker. No, he's been starting slow, and he's been missing a lot of stuff that that he normally makes. So, I think you're right about the weight. I've noticed it in the last 2 games, from his shoulders and his arms. I think he's lost 30, 35 pounds.
I was thinking 15, 20.
No, he's more than that.
That's kind of but whatever.
Because he was carrying so much on his trunk, bro.
He is. Again, I'm with you on the defense, but again, what we talked about Brandon Ingram saying something in the public, there's something going on.
Ingram needs to shut his mouth and score 36 tonight and win.
But Jalen McDaniel.
He says none of them can play D.
When he goes, nobody can play D. Well,
none of them. Well, Aaron Gordon took offense and he goes, "Oh yeah, watch this."
Let's see what happens tonight.
It's going to be a great game, bro. It's going to be a great game.
I'm watching hockey playoffs. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm watching more hockey playoffs. And hockey playoffs are like off the chain. They are the greatest. Yeah. They're the greatest playoffs there is.
Dude, it's the second greatest Canadian sport in the world.
It's the greatest Canadian sport.
Well, basketball is for me.
But you watch that game, I obviously I'm going to watch the Raptor game, but I am so looking forward to that. After those comments, and the way that game was the other night, Denver being up 19 and kind of just coasting and then coming back and winning, and the way the end was, Jokic shot the ball from Edwards. There's some angst there. I mean, this is the best.
No, this is a new rivalry, bro.
The best matchup in the first round is these.
For sure.
We called it before it started.
For sure. I mean, the only game I'm really not interested in, I'd love to see the Raptors win, and that's the only reason why I'm going to watch it. Otherwise, I wouldn't be watching it. Exactly. If it was 3-0, forget about it.
But
you know,
this game tonight, this Minnesota Denver game is like much watched.
oh,
game to
yeah.
watch.
It's going to be, I'm telling you, the goosebumps are starting, the hair on the back of the net starting to stand up there, Trent. I'm telling you, bro.
The crowd in Minnesota will be into it. It'll be loud in there.
Yeah.
It's going to be such a fun game to watch.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean.
The only thing, if before we move on to the next trend, if I may bring it up before we forget, because we both talk about this, and an issue for me right away is the way the NBA plays with its fan base and plays with its players and its organizations, and then the entire preseason is reffed a certain way. The summer league's reffed a certain way. The G League's reffed a certain way. The NBA season, for the first half of the season, is reffed a certain way. And then for the second half of the season is different. When you get in the playoffs, I've never seen so many foul calls, referee calls, and turnovers and continuity, because the refs seem to think people are there to watch them. There's 10 billion people watching these, and they're not there to watch those fucking refs. They're terrible, man. It's terrible. It's so obvious. And we talked about it for 40 years.
Tony Brothers.
Oh my God. I mean, it's so atrocious. And it's a stain on the game. It's a stain on the game, bro.
This way, the fact that we even know the refs' names tells you that they've done a terrible job.
Dude, we've been watching hoops. I've been watching hoops since 1969, bro.
You never know who the good refs are. You always know, and you never know their names. You always know the names of the bad ones.
Yeah, it's funny, eh? It's funny.
It's easy.
It's because you only bitch and moan on the people you hate.
Well, it's not even hate because I don't know them. So
yeah, you hate. There's a couple of refs you hate.
I don't hate them. No, I don't.
Well, you do. Well, I tell you what. I have such disdain. I have such disdain. Hate is it's not a positive disdain. I have a tremendous amount of disdain for 5 or 6 refs in the NBA right now. I can't stand them, and they all get playoff games. So you know it's going to be Vegas-inspired basketball, right? What are the numbers? What are the overs? What are the unders? What does FanDuel say?
Go watch everybody who listens to us, our audience of 5 that listen, go watch 500,
Trent.
Go watch Flagrant Foul on Netflix, the Tim Donaghy thing, and tell me how is Scott Foster still a ref in this league?
All right, before I answer that question, how can you call yourself the man, the myth, and the legend, and you say there's only 5 people watching the show? Bro, you need to pick your shit up a little bit.
I'm legendary the way other people need.
You wake up every day legendary.
Listen, the 5 people watching this show don't make me a legend. I was a legend already before this shit started happening. This is abundant. Give me a break.
Oh no, we're all gracious to have your presence. Trust me.
I know you. Exactly. It's my world. You're just living in it. Okay. Let's be honest. All right. So.
Here you go. Excuse me.
And you, Scott Foster should not be reffing in games. So, next, same as I did in the East, we'll go to your other favorite team, the Lakers, before we go to the other 2 teams. So,
whatever you want, man. It's your show. We just live in it.
Kevin Durant, just retire. It's over. Retire.
No, I mean after this season, I think Durant's gonna have a big drop off. But you know what? He smokes so much weed that I think he plays better because he's baked all the time.
I don't know.
Seriously. I think he's destroying Houston because of his disdain for all the youth. He looks at them all and he goes, these guys are nothing. Right? And he hates Smith Jr. He hates Şengün.
Yeah, but let's be honest here. Out of all the series, the one series that I would have thought that one team that was a higher seed, it's 4 and 5, but the one team that was a higher seed, the only team that I would have picked against because of injuries would have been the Lakers. And look at the Rockets. Where's Şengün? He's just a big blob out there. He's done nothing.
No, it's because of it's because of the arrogance of Durant shut him out the entire season, right? And the only reason why he didn't with Smith Jr. is because the coach loves Smith Jr. He's playing 35 minutes a game. And by the way, I think one of the best young players in that team is Smith Jr. How his season has gone. He's really shown exponential growth. and leadership, and he's talking out there, and he's people don't realize he's 6'11". And Şengün, I mean, I still think in fantasy, Şengün's a 5th round draft pick next season.
I'll tell you right now.
Maybe 4th.
I would take Jalen Green and Dylan Brooks right now back for Kevin Durant in this series right now against the Lakers in a minute.
Okay. Well, let's talk about reality.
Denver is Houston. You know what? People can say what they want about Dylan Brooks. He drives everybody nuts. He's a Canadian guy, so we root for him to a point.
Yeah.
Is he a bit of a jackass? Sure. But wherever that guy plays, that team plays that way with attitude. Devin Booker said it. He goes, off the court, he's not that guy. But when he comes on the court and he goes, I appreciate that. That brings that guy. Think about how Houston played last year defensively and just in-your-face basketball more than they do now. I would take those two guys. Jalen Green's a chucker, but when he's on, he guy's a good player.
He had like the last 10% of the season, he played really well when he got back from that hammy. And you dropped him, and I picked him up, and I was like, wow.
Well, I drafted him, and he never played. He barely played.
I know you held him forever. I drafted a bunch of players like that.
He's a good player. But I would take him and Dylan Brooks right now over Kevin Durant on the Rockets.
I tell you what, the dynamic nature of Booker, who needs to be traded, and Jalen Green in the backcourt, that's a pretty exciting backcourt right there if they can stay healthy.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, the Houston, I would take that right now in this series against the Lakers.
So the big thing we need to talk about, Trent, nobody's talked about it very much at all. And I listened to when I was doing my errands today on NBA 86 on Sirius XM is all NBA nonstop 24/7. I love it. I listen to it every day. And then I come and prep for the show, and Trent and I freestyle because we're hoop junkies. This is what we do. And, they keep on all saying the same thing. No one talks about how the Lakers won. Did anybody in the world guess without the 2 superstars? And by the way, if you look at the history of the NBA without 2 superstars, there hasn't been very many, that 1 or 2 teams that managed to actually win a couple of games. And they're 2-0 now, and it's largely not because they haven't played. It's because LeBron's incredible. And the ambidextrous right-handed player who shoots with his left. It's the only thing that he does in his entire life. Well, not the only thing. We don't know what goes on behind the closed doors. But he shoots. But he's right-handed predominantly in everything else, all sports. He was a quarterback that has the most records in NCAA football history as a quarterback. And look at what he did. And the coach found a way to utilize him where he's just it's like click. He's ready to fire. Like he's never been allowed to play like this. And it's shocking that they're 2-0 right now, but only because of the dysfunction of the Houston Rockets.
Yep. Well, and Durant banging his knee with his other player in a practice and not being able to play the first game.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Wear a knee pad, bro. Seriously.
It's over, Kevin. You had a great career. You're a first ballot Hall of Famer.
So you don't think I think Houston's going to get it tonight.
They might get it tonight. It's a home game.
They need to.
But I'm done.
I'm going with all home games tonight. I think they're all going to win.
I don't know. I think the Nuggets. I'm going with the Nuggets tonight. I think the Nuggets aren't going to be happy about losing that game, and they're not going to be happy about Jade McDaniels, that idiot, making those comments.
Oh, I love that. I love when people do that. It's so funny when they do that because it's always going to happen.
Yeah. So now we got another troubling one. So Spurs and Trailblazers. Wemby, that guy's like a big puppy dog. He's just like.
He's a great kid. Anyways, what are you going to say?
Banging your face on the floor like that, though. Like, how do you know?
He was out, bro. He was out.
I know, but how do you get a hand up or an arm up then?
Because of how he got fouled. He's so long. When he stands, people don't realize he can stand, and he's 8 foot plus because of his length of his arms, and he's 7'4", and his hands are huge, and he has the longest hands in the NBA.
Yeah.
And so when he falls, because he's only 225, 30 pounds, he didn't. Both his arms are down because the defense, they do this.
Yes.
and they whacked the shit out. He got fouled twice, 3 times, and a push. And so he's flying in the air, and the big question is, if you watch it, there was a San Antonio player on his right and one on his left. Neither one of them reached out to help him. And he was in the air, and it was obvious he was going to land on his fucking face, man.
How do you land on your face? Yikes.
Twice. Because he's 7'7", or 7'4", what I mean. But so anyways, there's no way he's going to clear protocol tonight.
But hey, San Antonio proved all year. I give it to Portland and Pace. A fan favorite, a player favorite of the show, Scoot Henderson, had a ridiculous game.
Yeah, played great.
Happy for that kid. I mean, good for him.
Shows you what we can hope for the future, eh?
And when you get drafted that high and you struggle a little bit, it's easy for people just to pile on.
People were writing him off this halfway through this year. They were like, "This guy's a stiff. He's a bust."
Obviously, the talented kid. I think these guys all have to, because they're coming into the league so young right now, with 1 year of college, stuff like that. I think there's an adjustment period of 2 to 3, 4 years for them to mature, become actually men, because now they are living on their own. They're not living in a college environment, right? All of a sudden at 20 years old. The potential of that guy, like future-wise, such a good player. Portland in general, fun team to watch. A young,
very exciting young team.
San Antonio did prove throughout the season they beat anybody without Wemby. They got a really good team. They
really do, and kudos to the 6th man of the year you called.
Evan Johnson,
You called that. Very nice. I went with Jaime Yaquez Jr. with the Heat. I thought he came second. So both very, very young, really talented young men.
Shout out to Alexander Walker, Canadian, in the top 3. He had a great season. Really
absolutely. Season. I was just going to say that next, bro. He had a great season. And then, of course, shout out to the new coach of the Portland, not the interim coach of the Portland Trailblazers. Did Tiago Splitter? I think he just signed. They signed him into an extension, right?
Good. He's done a great job there.
Oh, he really has. He's a great guy too, and great player with San Antonio. Another legend, another European that San Antonio used a lot of Europeans.
Off the bench playing center with Tim Duncan at power forward.
Hey, he was starting a lot too because the bigs are always injured. But
I think the Spurs are still winning. I think it could, if Wemby's going to miss a few games.
No, he's going to miss this game for sure, but I think he'll be back for the next one.
I can see Portland getting another. I can see Portland maybe getting another game at home because we know what the crowd at the Rose Garden is going to be like. It's going to be pumped in there.
I honestly think they're going to win tonight.
And that's what the thing is about basketball. People don't get. And it's like for every sport, but especially basketball and hockey because of how the fans are situated. Football, you're a little away from the field, even though it's still loud. You have 70, 80,000 people. Like, so you have...
Or 100,000.
Or you have 3 times the people, but 18, 20,000 people packed in a little thing.
Yeah.
Ring.
Where all the sound is echoed in.
Games take place where hockey teams play. They're both in the same stadiums in most of America.
That's exciting, man. Exciting.
For me personally, I love... And when Paul comes in June to watch finals, what's wonderful about watching sports, even though it's on TV, is having surround sound, having a great sound system with your television. The crowd makes those games. It makes it fun.
Absolutely. You got to crank it a little bit louder, and we got to tell your wife to get ready for it.
It gives me the gears. Like, do you need it that loud? And
Should I buy her some earplugs or give her my headphones when she's watching TV?
I have it that loud on my own.
No, but listen, I just mentioned I'm traveling. I've just by the way, I fixed that ticket. I got it correct. Thank God. And they didn't charge me $200 because, anyways, they were really good, and I used my points, and it was a great deal, and everything's great. So I'm traveling to St. Paul in Alberta. I'm flying from Kelowna to Edmonton. Trent's going to pick me up in Edmonton, and we're going to hopefully spend 8 days of golf and hoops and barbecuing and laughter and some sunshine. Because apparently Trent lives on the 16th hole of St. Paul's golf course. The best golf course and the nicest location in St. Paul's, a town of 6,500. And it's still snow on right now.
There is lots of snow.
Did you just look out the window so you could see the snow?
Yeah, I can look out and see it.
Over the bar. And by the way, Trent's basement of his house, for the most part, there is a guest room where I'll be staying in a storage room and so on. But it's mostly a sports bar. which is where Trent's filming in one corner of it. And I spend my entire day down there. I do my emails. We're going to film an episode when I'm there. And I'm really looking forward to it. We used to do it every year, and then COVID happened, and the world's gone crazy. And anyways, very excited about that. So who do we have to finish? We have to talk about, I guess we were talking about the Lakers, right?
No, it's OKC and the Suns.
Well, I mean, we don't even really need to say anything. OKC's, if you look at how many games they're winning and how many points they're winning by, no team in the playoffs would be able to match it because of the calls they get. They get the most calls out of any team in the NBA. It's so ridiculous. Watch them tonight. Watch what happens. And you've got players coming off the bench with OKC and a headband going up to the ref and say, you need to call that. That was obvious. And the ref listened to him, and the first thing he did was called it.
Oh,
it's out of control. So they're the world champions, and they have a very good opportunity to get there again. Unfortunately, once again, they're one of their superstars, top 3 superstars, his hurt his hammy again. And he's hurt both his left and right hammies, and he only played 33 games all season. So what are these health practitioners doing to stop these soft tissue injuries? Have you seen this kid? It's not like he doesn't have any muscle.
Yeah.
Right? They need to learn how to hydrate, eat well, and stretch more.
There's a perfect example right now.
Do yoga, something.
OKC, because of the Clippers, their smart management, they might end up with a top 4 pick in the lottery. OKC trade this. I think Jalen Rose is a really good player.
Yeah.
But when you can't play, trade this guy. You'll get another draft pick, or even another player. You're going to get a high pick. They could trade this guy.
That's not their style. Have you looked at their age of the roster? The youngest roster in the NBA.
So, and they're good enough that they don't need calls. Like Devin Booker saving the ball the other night, and it hits the other Jalen Williams in the face. Man. Well, and then they call it technical.
No, that was purely accidental. They said that he did it maliciously. That is just. Honestly, Trent, it goes back to the referees. As Hoop Junkies, Trent and I like to talk about basketball, not the referees. The referees have a very important job to do when it comes to the NBA. We all understand that, but nobody in the world is watching basketball because of the referees, okay? Especially NBA referees. Like, I'll just leave it at that. They can't find me, but who knows? Maybe they find a way. I don't know. But it's problematic. And, the whole draft situation and players sitting out and players being soft and the schedule and the 65 game rule, there's going to be a lot of changes this year. But in the meantime, we just want to get through. We're very early, the third game in the quarterfinals of the road to the NBA championships 2025 and 26. We ready to go? I think we pretty much hit it on the nose. Phoenix is not going to win that series. Yeah. Booker needs to be traded. He needs to go somewhere where he has a chance to win a championship. And OKC is very dangerous. So some of the awards, Trent, before we go, we should mention some of these awards, right? Come on, it's important. The Defensive Player of the Year, obviously, was Wemby before he concussed himself. It's unfortunate, but it was quite obvious that was the case.
Any of those idiot voters ever had in their life. So.
Yeah, and then some of the other awards, we talked about a couple of coaches getting signed. Another award came out, the Sixth Man of the Year, which we both agree was the correct person that won it for the most part. The Community Player of the Year, I can't remember who it was, but it was a big name. Anything else?
No, man, all I was going to tell people is the episode today, this is a Trent and Paul phone conversation. We can start at something and just go right through a bunch of stuff. We did a pre-show and we did talk about this before. We're a little organized, just going from east to west. And when Paul and I talk on the phone, not on show days, just during basketball, this is the type of thing we just can talk about basketball, just about everything and anything.
Yep.
That's what this show is like. You're going to see this for the rest of the playoffs because we're not playing fantasy. And I mean, it's a good thing we're not playing fantasy because I can't be dominant all the time. But so
the man, the myth, the legend. Just ask him.
We're just going to free flow and mix on what happens in the playoffs and what goes on, and that's how it is. So,
yeah, I mean, and that's the way it should be. We do our episodes a little bit different, and it's catching on. People feel it. There's a lot of people that are watching it, and we're also going to be doing, as the NBA starts to get into its finality, into the NBA championships, we're also going to be doing a preseason WNBA. We're going to be doing on a weekly basis WNBA. We're following it big time this year. Trent and I are both extremely excited with my favorite team, perhaps Trent's as well. What they've done, the Indiana Fever have done to their roster is extraordinary, and they're going to be a fun team to watch. And by the way, Trent, what were you saying the other day? There's 44 games in the WNBA season, and the Indiana Fever are on national
for all their games,
man. And yeah,
you finally getting it. You actually getting it. People.
What a surprise! No, I mean, to all of the haters, all of the female haters and the female players in the WNBA that can't stand and are so jealous, and some of them, it seems to be motivated by some very unpleasant societal issues. And it's become increasingly obvious that is a problematic situation in our southern neighbors. But that's for another show, certainly not on this show. But in the meantime, thanks, Trent. We're going to wrap things up. This has been a fun episode, a little bit shorter episode, but we're going to get into it. The games are starting right now. Trent hasn't eaten. I haven't eaten, but thank you very much for joining us on the Canadian Bro Show. And honestly, if you really enjoy this type of show, or it's the first time you've been here, we really appreciate you watching. Please pause the episode at any point. Just pause it. And you can actually subscribe, and you can like, and you can actually comment, and you can share, as well as you can hit the notification bell if you really would like to watch future episodes of All Basketball from the Hoopjunkies, Pauly and Rowley. On behalf of Mr. Trent Rowley, thanks, Trent. The man, the myth, the legend, just ask him. Make a comment. And my name is Paul Bale. I'm the founder and host of the Canadian Bro Show. And very happy to have you for our second season, episode 55, week 25 of All Basketball from the Hoopjunkies, Pauly and Rowley. Take care, everybody, and thanks again for joining us. Trent, we're signing out, and I'm going to take us both out of the screen before I finish it so you can all have a look at one of my teams, the Newcastle Comets, before they became the legendary Newcastle Eagles. Trent even looks like one of the players, kind of. Certainly, yeah, right? Certainly benefits from that. Trent, thanks again, and I'll talk to you shortly after we finish the episode. And great episode, and thanks kindly. And myself, I'm removing myself as well, and I just want you to look at my old team. It was a very interesting year, and I'm really proud of it. I can't believe it was over 30 years ago. My goodness, where as time goes. Thanks for joining me. My name is Paul Bale, the founder and host of the Canadian Bro Show podcast at YouTube. Take care, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for joining us.